Anyway, guys, great to see you again. I was just chatting with Lee a little bit. Boston, I wanted to ask you one quick thing before we get started, which is, you know what happened to me recently? So I bought some pastrami. Well, first of all, by the way, I got jealous of your haircut, so I cut my hair. So
yeah, it looks like you cut it.
we don't have great hair.
Leo's turned into a Backstreet Boy. By look at
That was a good one.
Look at him. But
I could find, actually what your hair, this isn't like an insult, but you know what your haircut looks like? It's a comic book guy from X-Men. There was, if any of the listeners know who I'm talking about, there was one X-Men character, he was a villain, who had a small blonde part just like Lee. He was huge, massive guy. Maybe some nerd would know other than me. I don't remember.
Could have been worse. Most bodybuilders look like Professor X.
That's true. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to ask you, Boston, I ate some pastrami recently, and this pastrami has much more sodium than I realized, and I'm not adapted to the sodium, of course, and now I have a little bit of testosterone in me, and I'm not adapted to the mineral corticoid, whatever. So basically, I became really bloated for like 3 days. When I was bloated, I, of course, paranoia, you know me, so I started thinking kidney failure. So I started looking.
Oh, no.
I went through this whole thing where I was like, no, I've been going through it today even with my wife. Like, so let me tell you the story. So first of all, I noticed like I'm really bloated. I said my body shouldn't be staying this bloated. It should have adapted quicker. Okay, there must be some kidney problems. So I go check my old kidney tests from when I was on hormones before. I'm like, what was it? What was the worst creatinine? I'm looking, it's 1.2, 1.2. The EGFR is really bad because obviously I was young, but it's like, it's not that, it's 1.2. So I was like, Then I go through my kidney ultrasound. I was going to post it on Instagram. I go through the kidney ultrasound. I look at each thing. I like Google it, try to study it. I'm like, okay, it seems like there's no glomerulosclerosis. But then then I noticed, like, I'm like, do I have a bit of dandruff? You know, when you get kidney stuff, because you start to get flaking also. Really? So then I look at my legs, and this is the part I wanted to ask you about. I look at my ankles, and I'm like, wait a minute. The left ankle is thicker than the right ankle, for sure.
That's what Bo said happened to him. Remember?
Yeah, Bo said exactly. So I said, okay, that's that giveaway. That's it. So I called my wife. I'm like, look, left one is bigger. I knew it the whole time. I had kidney damage. I had no idea. I recovered because I went off. I was low body weight and went off hormones. I go back on. Literally, by the way, I'm not on not more than 300. There's no way. This is like crappy stuff. I tried to take 400 a week, so it's less than 400. So I don't know what it is. But the point is, it's very low. And I'm like, I'm telling my wife, like, I took this tiny amount and I think it crashed my kidney and now I'm in kidney failure. So my wife is like, no, you're not. This is paranoia, whatever. So she convinced me not to go to the hospital. But what I wanted to ask you is this, Boston. How in the world is your left ankle not more swollen than your right? Because mine is right now as I talk to you.
You don't have kidney issues, man.
No, I don't. Maybe I don't. No, I don't. But what I'm trying to say is I realize this. Basically, whenever anyone's bloated, the left side will be more bloated. The left leg will be more bloated than the right leg. So what I was asking is, you have absolutely no bloat still?
No. My dad asked to see me and my dad. My dad came out down for my birthday, and I cheated my ass off. We went to hibachi, high sodium, everything. And he was like, son, let me see your ankles. So I showed him, and I still have veins in my calves. There's no swelling at all.
Oh, but bro, you should be very, very careful about the high sodium because it can cause the acute.
No, I know. My doctor gets on me about the high sodium.
What doctor?
I'm still with that guy. I'm starting to like him.
That's not a doctor.
Leo's just panicking. Look, Leo, I'll tell you a secret. When you get your hair cut, your face looks fatter. That's all it is, okay?
Yeah,
that's it. Once it goes in here, this comes out.
This was before that. I actually got better when I cut it, but anyway.
The gear does make you more sodium sensitive. I don't know if Lee got that too, but anytime you add in some anabolics, you're more sensitive to sodium.
Yeah, because
the only thing that made me really bloat was like an Apollon 50, like Anadrol.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Dianabol wasn't too bad. Dianabol would make me a little bit puffy, but normally, like, I even used to, when I used Cypionate a bit and stuff, or Sus 250, I died on that up until the contest. I was only taking like the 400 milligrams on a Sus 250. If it was true Sus 250, it would have been 500 a week. But even dieting on that, I didn't hold too much fluid. But anything like orals, Dianabol, or an Apollon, I'd get.
Hey, Lee, one of the questions that I didn't record, and I just wanted to ask before I forget, is back I mean, you weren't in the earliest times, but in the 90s, was there some certain non-testosterone base that was preferred, like Deca or Primo or EQ? I know you didn't talk about it much with people, so I didn't record the question, because I know that wasn't your thing, but I just wanted to ask.
Normally, anything if it wasn't like Testa, the only thing I used to like even back in the day was like even just like Deca and Dianabol together or basics like that. But no, there's nothing really more over one than the other. But no, it's just all the basics, pretty much like that. You know, the Deca, Dianabol, Test. If you could get the was it the Parabol that used to come in those snap off?
The 75 milligram amps.
Yeah.
I've used the Indian
I used to
one.
hate them because I don't know how many times I would snap them, but I'd smash them. And all the broken glass would go inside. And I'm thinking, I don't want to use it.
I was still trying to get it out.
I wouldn't. I'd just throw it away. I'm thinking, my luck, the glass will a little bit will go up the syringe and go into my somewhere.
I hate that when you go to pop it and the whole thing just crushes.
Yeah, just shatters.
Yeah.
Then you get the one. Then you get the one where you think you're a strong bodybuilder. I think the Sustanon 250 used to come in the clear one, and you'd be like this forever. You can't even snap the top off a fucking vial.
Yeah.
That's the cerebrolysin that I'm dealing with these days. That nerve thing I told you about, that thing comes in like 5 milliliter ampules, 10 milliliter ampules. They seem to be made of steel. And what I do is now, I heard somebody mention this. I don't know if it was you, Boston, or somebody, but I take a pen cap and put it on the top. And then I take the pen cap and put it on the side of like a desk or something, and that pops it. But then
you got that from Ian Villar on Full Odds podcast.
Yes. He's brilliant. He's really good. Yeah, I really like Ian.
I remember the first time when I did the gear at 19, my friend got it from the doctors. They used to come preloaded, and it came preloaded with an 18-inch needle on, and that's what I used to get. The 18-inch, you'd shove it in my glute. I was like, "What the fuck's that?" It's like a core sample, like a roofing nail. I'd be like, "Hey, can't you get something smaller?" He goes, "Oh, it's preloaded. It comes on there." I said, "Fucking 18 gauge." I finally got to the point where I hated needles. If I ran out of needles and I had like an insulin syringe before, I'd fill up the insulin syringe with oil. And I'd sit there for an hour just fucking pushing it in through a 25 gauge. The thing's fucking bending. I said, I don't give a shit. I'll take as long as I want. But I use a 25 gauge for oils. It'd take forever, but I didn't care.
That's what we do. That's what we do nowadays. Everybody does that. They call it backloading. Everybody switched to that, because it's less damaging to the muscle.
I just hate it.
Are those the Sustanon amps you're talking about? I mean, the Sustanon preloaded that you were talking about? Because I heard the one from Mexico. There were Sustanon preloaded syringes that came from Mexico. These ones. When I was still in Australia, you could actually. That's when our doctors could still prescribe it. That was 19, so that would have been back in like 92, 93. The doctor could still prescribe it. Yeah, it'd come in a box, and there'd be like 3 preloaded ones in the box. They would prescribe it to a 19-year-old?
No, my friend would get it, so he'd give it to me. Yeah, but then there was that one they had here. They give out a lot to some people. It was that was it Reandron or something? It was like it's meant to be slow release testosterone. Sometimes now you go to a doctor and then you go to the. No,
it's undecanate. It's like a month long.
Testosterone and undecanate. He's talking about.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 milligrams. It's meant to be, and it's meant to you get one shot every 8 weeks. You go to the doctor and get one shot every 8 or 10 weeks or something.
It gives you a huge mood cyclicality through the month. It's a horrible decision. Yeah, very bad choice.